Welcome back to Under Oath. No more dead puppies.
Here's the question. Where's the line how many illegal things you can get away with in the name of saving a life?
In reality,
Anything
I'm
other
going
than-
to say this. I'm going to say this. Here's the thing. It depends where you live, because you will not be prosecuted for even killing somebody if the prosecutor goes, we don't care. Yeah, we get it. The person who got killed is a bad person, or I have too much on my plate. In reality, it works like this. You're allowed to commit crimes against property, against things to protect somebody else. That's normally it is. But when you use deadly force, that's when we have to start using a balancing test. You pushed my girlfriend. I shot you in the head. No. You pushed my girlfriend. I pushed you back. Okay, maybe. But when you start using deadly force to do something, then the amount of force you use has to be propensatory.
Proportionate.
The amount of force you use has to be proportionate to the danger you're or the person you're protecting is dealing with.
So for kidnapping, definitely allowed to use deadly force to prevent kidnapping.
Yeah. Stealing, keeping your girlfriend from losing her pocketbook, different. I can't cut your head off for trying to steal the pocketbook or the car.
Well, you can get to that point.
Depends where you are. In Texas, maybe. Certain places that are a lot more. Vermont, you're going to prison. You can't commit a crime in Vermont. Too many very serious white people in Vermont. They take things very seriously in Vermont. Their ice cream, things like that. They just, if it's Miami, you and I both know. I practiced law in Miami. I worked for the state attorney's office in Miami for 3 months, and I had 600 cases in the morning and the afternoon. You don't have time to care. You are working a system. You are moving files. There's just too many people, and you're going, okay, what do we charge for this? And it was flat. And everyone fell under in these buckets of punishments. Okay, this is this bucket. This is this bucket. When you only have 5 cases in the morning, you have time to be upset about things. You have time to care. New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Dallas, Miami, your big cities, they don't care unless it's in the news. If it gets put in the news, we suddenly care because we don't want to lose our jobs. And when we talk about safety and issues like this, yes, we can argue the law. The law is deadly force, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, Tampa, Lakeland, Miami, Jacksonville, Daytona Beach, same crime, same issue, different punishments.
Oh, agreed.
Why? And
So
Craig knows the answer. He knows he's going to say it, the legal answer for it.
It's what the community will tolerate.
What the community will tolerate. In other words,
what
if you
the
got
community
100 white guys in that community, that's the 100 white guy issue. You have 100 Spanish people, that's 100 Spanish people. You have millions of people, we just don't have time to care. And that's the reality of justice. So when you see these cases, for example, I was talking to a guy who was at 60 Minutes or 48 Hours. 60 Minutes. He was doing a thing. He was on a murder in Alaska, a small town in Alaska. It's always a small town.
They're all small towns in Alaska,
We care about
aren't
the
they?
small towns because that's the biggest thing happening. If somebody gets killed in New York, we don't care. Casey Anthony. Why do we keep saying her name? Because it happened in Orlando. If it happened in Los Angeles, we wouldn't even know her. We wouldn't even know her if it was a Los Angeles case.
I don't know. I think we might because people in California do know Casey Anthony. I think it's because
our trial. We made it a big deal.
Her kid was so cute.
No, we made it a big
She
deal
had a
here.
cute little kid.
If it's a big deal and a lot of people are covering it, it's a big deal.
Yeah, but why
They're not
was it
going
a
to
big
cover a
deal?
Los Angeles
Why was it a big deal? Why were a lot of people
because
the kid
we
was
were
cute.
focused on it. The prosecutor's office was focused on it here. It became big. That's why all these
The kid was cute, and Casey Anthony wasn't ugly.
There are a lot of cute people.
She wasn't ugly, so they're like, okay, here's this.
There's a lot of good-looking women who kill their kids.
Well, if they do, they get front page coverage.
South Carolina, a woman goes into the lake with her kids.
Front page coverage.
You know why? It started as front page in the local, and that's how it expands. Depends on how far people want to go with it. And I think that's the issue. And here's a little bit of information for our listeners. Do you know why the prosecutors are fighting so hard to go against cases like this? Because they're newsworthy.
To make a name for myself if I go get this conviction.
I got a name for myself. I mean, look at the clown college that was involved in Casey Anthony. You and I both know when we looked at the lawyers on all of them, we're going, wow. Other than West, it was clown college. They were doing weird stuff. They were all semi-incompetent watching them do things. There was attorneys who didn't know how to put evidence in. They didn't know how to object. You and I sat there watching this stuff and we're going, you had prosecutors making faces for the camera, doing crazy looking faces. I'm going, why are you doing this? Why do you have to go this far? And it's because everyone in a big case gets to fail upwards. It's the only time that both sides get to fail upwards. Oh, I lost. Oh, I'm now a judge.
Hold on to your seats, folks, because Jeff's favorite thing to be mad about is failing and then getting promoted.
Yeah. Oh, look, I'm a celebrity. People forgot you lost. OJ. Everybody in that failed for it. Darden. These people made millions for losing. Losers. I've never seen this happen. The Super Bowl, you don't make extra money. Only in a very well-publicized criminal case do you make a crap load of money. Like the guy, I mean, come on, look at all these cases where the people lost. And they go, oh, I want to hire the guy in this case. Why? He lost. Oh, I'm going to make him a professor. You should teach. In the end, for celebrity, like the Tigger trial, I did that. I didn't want any publicity on it. I wanted it to be over. Other side didn't want it. They love to be in the news. They love feeling important. They took a case to trial they should never have taken to trial. The fact is, in that case, during deposition, that's before the trial took place, evidence came out, hey, we tried to file a lawsuit before we called the police.
Yeah.
The stepfather in this case testified, yeah, we made it up in the car leaving Disney World. How do you even think about moving forward on that case? Well, I get to talk to the news.
Well, that's also a different issue. And prosecutors have a duty to refrain from bringing cases that they don't believe that they can get a conviction on. They don't want to make that call, though. And that's why the Casey Anthony cases and the cases like that Tigger trial go forward, because the state attorney doesn't want to take the heat for dropping a case because they don't want to look weak. They're worried about the appearance more than they are worried about serving the interest of justice. They're worried about their own reputation and how they look to other members of the community than they are about the concept of justice. So they weren't going to drop the case. The judge should have thrown the case out on several of your motions. He wouldn't do it either.
He let stuff in and told me you're going to have to win on appeal. He let 300 pictures in of weird stuff.
That no one could say was the defendant.
There are rules in court. There are basic rules. And to get photo evidence in, it required 3 things. Completely ignored it because he knew he didn't want to be responsible for this case being dropped.
He didn't want the headline to be Judge tosses sex case.
And that's what the prosecutor told him. Well, if you don't let this in, I'm just going to drop the case. Said it in front of the judge, and he looked at me and he goes, you're just going to have to appeal me. I remember sitting there going, wow, Michael might do 15 years.
Because they're afraid to drop the case.
Because everybody is in it for themselves. Other than me. I did the case pro bono.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to go to trial. I didn't want to stick somebody in front of 6 people with... Anytime you have a sex case in front of a jury, they think you have to prove your client didn't do it. You don't get that benefit of innocent until proven guilty. Not in sex cases. That jury hates your guy from the minute they mention that name. Sexual assault on a minor. Are you kidding me? There's no way. And having to fight through that for 5 days to show every lie, every bit of crap evidence, and to win that, even in the end, you just want to go to bed. You're just going, I just want to go to bed.
But for the rest of your life, you get to light that cigar.
No.
And say, I was part of actual real justice.
What happened to us? We had business clients who weren't happy about it. They didn't like their attorney in there. The title people didn't like it. I lost my job at Disney. I was working part-time at Disney.
Well, of course you lost your job.
6 months later, I lost my job at Disney. It's hard for people to take you serious with what I did in that closing, even though I won. Putting on a Tigger costume in a closing, of all the great things I've done in my life. And that's the picture they'll show, in my obituary. Me holding a Tigger head.
If I'm at your funeral, I'm still alive.
Oh, you think you're going to be at my funeral?
There's a chance.
Okay.
I'll be holding that picture up. Jeff wanted to make sure you guys
as he's crying. No, I don't. I think when it comes down to certain things, and our criminal system is tough, because being a criminal defense attorney sucks, in the sense that you can't tell somebody what they're looking at. You can tell them the minimums and the maximums, but based on all the nonsense that can happen, worst thing that can happen is you actually come to an agreement with the prosecutor and you go, okay, you're going to be decent, I'm going to be decent. Then you bring it to the judge that goes, I'm not going to accept that. Wait a minute. The two people who are fighting this, you're just here to accept this stuff. Well, no, I don't want to be blamed for it. And then you have judges who start worrying about their own futures. There's just so many variables in the practice of law that you go after and you fight. And I've been doing this for, God, you and I, we've been partners for 27 years. Yeah, we're coming up on 27 years. That's crazy. 27 years, you and I have been arguing over what somebody will do and what somebody won't do. And every time we're like going, see?
Seems like a long time.
See, it's a while, but in the end, it's knowledge. But the law changes every day too. The people who are fighting it change. The way they fight it changed. Honesty. You and I both know that people aren't as honest as they used to be in court, and judges don't care as much, and attorneys don't care as much. I don't remember attorneys lying that much when we were in open court. There was always a fear that we had to do the right thing. But you and I have sat, our last trial, we sat in court and listened to an attorney just make up stuff. Every other sentence lied to the jury. And it was okay. World changes, and I stay the same. Matthew McConaughey. You know what I was doing, people.